Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jesse Martin.
Because 90% of them are wrong. They're fucking wrong.
Max Taman.
You've got a plate of shit and you've got a bowl of shit. They're the same thing.
Scott Hartley.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
John Taman.
What the hell was I talking about?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And now, the world's worst podcast host, John Taman.
Hey everybody, it's John Taman. I'm the world's worst podcast host on the world's worst podcast for June, man. I'll tell you what, it is hard to find shit to talk about in June if you're an NFL podcast. So we decided what we were going to do today is we're going to come up with a mock trial. Terry is the only thing on pretty much everybody's mind, except for some other ridiculousness like people trying to, do you miss Taylor Heineke? But, so we're going to run a mock trial in about 20 minutes or so, and we're going to see how this all ends out. But before then, let me see, get myself all together here because I am the world's worst podcast host. Let me say hello to my good friend over there, Jesse Martin from Southeast Virginia. How you doing? There we go. There he is. How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing very good. Great to be here. Enjoying the 90-degree weather. When we get
Don't spoil it.
Never mind.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what. It was like 2 days ago. Summer got here and went, "Fuck, I'm late," and just said, "We're gonna roast everybody now." It went from like 75 degrees one day to 100 degrees the next day.
I checked my weather app. Next week,
Tuesday is going to be
all
a scorcher.
100s, above 100.
On the hundreds. I am glad that I am.
Scott, we're talking Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Scott's over here thinking we're going to boil.
Well, now, Scott, I saw that you guys are having a heat wave over there. How hot is it there? By the way, down there on the bottom right, our good friend from Royal Port of Barrow, Scott Hartley. What's going on? You're so far away.
I know. I seem so far away, but it's not that bad. It's just the camera's the other side of the table. So
no, I meant you're in
Scott,
England. And,
Scott's like, they took the furnace out of the name, but not in the actual weather.
But not in the actual way. This is the difference. You see, it's not humidity. It's about air conditioning. It's not a standard thing in British houses. It doesn't exist.
Really?
So obviously, no, not at all. You very rarely
you guys
get
have all
A lot like California on
You
the
don't
on
really
the coast
get-
side.
you don't really get air conditioning. So
how hot is
obviously
it
you
today?
deal
I
with
saw
what
you're
it is.
having a heat wave.
It's only like 80-ish. It's like 20 in our world. It's like
Only?
28 degrees.
I
C.
wear a hoodie in that weather.
Only
Seriously?
80 degrees?
I am sweating like a pork pie at a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I was
It's
about
ridiculous.
to say, you're acting a little bit more...
Not throwing around the ethnic humor there. Way to go.
Sorry.
Sorry about you compared yourself to a pork pie. I'm not sure how
It
anybody
is wild out here, but I mean, Burroughs is getting 30 degrees down London way, so yeah, it's been pretty nice.
Scott, I just want you to know that next week he's going to have your face on Porky the Pig because of how you just said that.
That's
No,
fine.
I'm thinking about Burroughs down there. He's probably got it. If he's making commission off of his sales, I'm telling you what, he's selling some beer. Although y'all drink it warm. What the hell is that?
Jelly deals. Get your
Do
jelly
y'all
deals.
really drink your beer warm now? I mean, do you still do that?
No, not
Thank
at all.
God.
No, not really. That's the thing. We don't use heat. We don't use sunscreen. We don't really stay in the shade. We just drink pints. Think it'll be okay.
Well, to be fair, once you leave the confines of your island and go anywhere that the sun actually shines, you people roast like fucking bacon, which is
Correct.
Which is kind of fun.
So
We've
it's,
seen the.
so it's 82.4 is where I'm at.
Damn, that's a pleasant day. That is a pleasant day. All right, and down here on the bottom left, of course, Maxwell.
Hey, I got music now. I'm official. I don't know what to do here.
Well, you got to kind of wait for the people.
This isn't waving music. This is, I'm going to walk down the aisle music. But no.
All right, well, all right. Walk down the aisle. How about that?
Yeah, like I'm at an award show. Not.
Well,
What is this?
I'll tell you what. Then, since you have bungled your first musical entrance, I think what we're going to do is say this. We're going to give you a head smack.
Well, look, you guys
What?
usually do these. You
Sit down
do
and
the
shut
planning
fuck up.
show.
Shut up!
Sit the fuck down and shut up!
Shut up and sit down.
You shut up!
Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
All right. That's the first sit down and shut up of the year. You know, we've been doing sit down and shut up since I came on this podcast. And I really don't want to get rid of it because I like it. All right. So who do we got in the chat over there? What's up, Deluxe? How you doing over there? And of course, to all you other people that are over there watching on Twitter, wondering whether you should come in and watch the trial of Terry McLaurin. Yes, you should. Come on over here to YouTube. You can get in on the action. You can be in the gallery. You can be part of the jury because you're going to have a way that you can vote to determine whether or not which one of our lawyer teams here, and I use the term loosely, make the better argument. All right. I know what you probably think, and I know what you probably feel. Whichever one it is, we're going to try to change your mind one way or the other. But we're going to get onto that in a couple of minutes. I do have something that I want to share with you guys since we were talking about
Sit down and shut the fuck up. Shut up! Shut up! Sit the fuck down and shut up!
Shut up and sit down.
You shut up!
Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
There's just not a whole lot more that you can give to this guy. I'm trying to remember some of these older things that I have. Jesse showed this to me the other day. All right. You saw last week or 2 weeks ago when Deuce was on, we were doing the top 10 things that you can learn about minicamp, right? You can learn from minicamp, right? And we were laughing about how many fans think that they can actually effing learn something about minicamp. All right. Well, then comes along this guy. I can't find it. Where the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. Here we go. It's a Vikings fan. So I don't know. Could you hear me when that was running?
No.
All right. I don't know if you could read the tweet up there, but what it says is, oh my God, J.J. McCarthy just completed the greatest touchdown pass of all time in OTAs. Look. So there you go. If you thought that I was using a lot of hyperbole and making a joke last week about number 10 being how you can tell that the Super Bowl is within your grasp or where you're going to Hall of Fame based on these videos, people do. Max, did that look like one of the greatest touchdowns of all time?
No, that looked like a typical Sunday in week one.
I tell you what, I thought he was out of bounds.
I mean, you remember when Emmanuel Forbes was tearing it up at rookie year OTAs?
Who? Emmanuel Forbes?
Sorry, this guy.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. You're usually not supposed to bring up your prosecuting attorney's losses right before a trial. It's bad luck.
Dick.
Kabam. All right. So since the Viking fan was pretty stupid, listen. How much fun have you guys had with Eagles fans this year?
Oh, it's been amazing, John. Just has to be. Every single day. I mean, how on earth, tell me this, why are we living rent-free in their head in the middle of June? You know, every other tweet is Jaden Daniels, 55, 55, 55. I'm like, come on, boys. Like, if you'd won the Super Bowl, you'd be in Cabo. Or you'd be, you know what I mean? You'd be like, you know what? I'm going to see my family. This is cool.
Like everything else in their fucking lives. They just love to shit on it. You know,
really
they're shitting on their own Super Bowl fucking victory is what they're doing.
I wouldn't even pay attention to anybody once we.
I don't either. I don't fucking either. I don't pay attention to Eagles fans. They're fucking. LJ had a great tweet on Father's Day. I don't know if anybody saw.
I did see that, and I think she offended half of Philadelphia with that.
I mean,
as they look for their fathers. Anyway, look. Here's an Eagle fan. You ready for this? Here's an Eagle fan.
Ever heard of the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles from Philadelphia? I went there once. Hi, Jalen Hurts so yummy, it should be illegal. So I say, go birds and fly, Eagles fly. Cool, cool like an eagle, fly, fly like a man. Throw, throw like a monster, as hard as you can. Devontae Smith has my heart and a romance can start. Tonight.
That guy needs tender affirmative care.
Over under on the amount of minutes that he watched Eagles games this year.
Did he cuckoo like a fucking eagle?
Cuckoo like an eagle.
Can you do me a favor? Has anyone got the number for Jameis Winston's LASIK eye surgery person? Because I think I need it after that.
Now, the thing I want to know is behind him. Is that his mother? I think that's his mom back there trying to tell him
I hope
Justin
Twiz
Bieber.
on. I hope
Could be the
Twiz-
Justin
Twiz
Bieber of
comes
the
on chat.
NFL.
Oh no!
We really want Twiz to come on the chat because I want to play that.
That might
I
be
wonder
Twiz.
if that is him.
That might be.
Ever heard of the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles from Philadelphia? I went there once. Hi, Jalen Hurts, so yummy.
Just can't take that. No.
It's the high bit. I went there once. Hi.
Well, Jaden Hurts is so yummy. At which point, mom behind him should have just swatted him right on the back of the head. What's the matter with you? Go goddamn clean up the
Is that his
bed.
mom or his beard?
Look.
Ever heard of the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles?
It's beard.
Sister? I don't know. But Jesus Christ. Look, Philadelphia. Stop drinking the fucking water up there. All right. That Delaware River water is not helping you. Good God. So anyway, what else we got going on?
The other good thing about the offseason is we always get every single publication comes out with their top 10 lists at like every position.
Yes.
Oh, are you talking about the
And,
Yahoo?
Yeah, did you guys see the Yahoo list that came out?
No, it's ridiculous.
All right.
Is that the
Top
one
10
about quarterbacks?
Yeah, top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The first four we can just all agree is the power four in the
And I think
AFC.
they put them in tiers, didn't he? Didn't
No,
they?
it's just
Well,
1 through 10.
Jalen Hurts is yummy.
Who wrote it?
This is Charles McDonald.
Yeah, he put them in in kind of tiers though, but he didn't
Ronald
number them.
McDonald.
Like the
He
first
wrote it.
tier was
Just
Don't
top
worry
10.
about him, Scott. He used to have a farm.
I'm just going off the top 10, Jesse. That's all.
All right, so go ahead.
So the top four we can just, Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, and Burrow. 5 is Justin Herbert.
No way. Get the fuck out of here. This is a guy
Oh,
who
wait,
lives
no,
on
wait,
Mother's
wait. Because you're
reputation
going to
in
get
Mother
more
Earth.
mad. Just wait.
Oh, no, I'm not mad. It's just,
Oh, no, because number 6 is Matthew Stafford.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Number
dude is
7
that
is
good.
Dak.
I would say he is 6, Matthew.
He's a
Stafford.
Hall of Fame quarterback. That dude is that good. He
Number
really
7 is Dak
that
Prescott.
good.
No
chance.
Here's the worst one. Number 8 is Geno Smith.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the one.
Who's
where
this
they went,
dude?
let's
Who's
put
this
something
dude
in there
again?
to piss
This
off
is
the
Charles
Commanders.
McDonald from Yahoo Sports.
Yeah, there's a little
Number
more.
9 is Jordan Love, and number 10 is C.J. Stroud.
You see, I don't mind. I would say CJ Stroud probably is a top 10 quarterback. I'd say Justin Herbert is a top 10 quarterback. I would say
He's at the bottom of that.
Stafford's a top 10 quarterback.
There's-
Yeah, in the league, yes.
Right, but do you think that Herbert is 5?
Hell no.
No, I would say Jaden
I don't
Daniels
even-
is 5.
I think he may be around. If you're going to even put him in the top 10, he might be around 10.
I
Herbert's
got
one of those
there's
guys.
some context behind this, and Max, you pulled the 1 through 10 off of it, and you're right. But he put these guys in tiers in his article, and the first tier was
Oh, I thought he
Patrick
was going to
Mahomes.
cry.
It's the Patrick Mahomes tier.
He
There's
called
only
their
one
mom
quarterback in there. The second tier was the almost Mahomes tier with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Lamar number 2, Josh Allen number 3. The third tier was a ceiling razor tier. Joe Burrow 4, Justin Herbert 5, Matthew Stafford 6.
Okay.
The next tier was the floor razor tier. Dak Prescott 7, Geno Smith 8, Jordan Love 9, CJ Stroud 10. These quarterbacks are good, but just a hair off from the rest of the players ranked above them. These guys have been good at creating competitive teams in adverse situations, though there's still a bit missing to get them to the upper echelon. How do you not have Jaden Daniels in?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Here's the question. Wait,
4
here's
and
the
12
question.
or 4 and 13 to the fucking.
Jesse, what was tier 2 called, and what was tier 3 called?
All right, tier 2
Was almost
was
Mahomes,
the almost Mahomes tier. Okay,
and that was Allen and Jackson.
that was Allen and Jackson. Yes.
And then tier 3 was called what?
Tier 3 was the ceiling razor tier, which was Burrow, Herbert, Stafford. These quarterbacks
Right.
are bona fide franchise quarterbacks who can significantly raise the ceiling of the offense. All
Now-
three of them capable having explosive days through the air. Herbert and Stafford's have a level of physical talent that really lets them be drivers of the offensive production and fire.
What does
Why doesn't
Burrow
it ever
have?
do anything?
What does
That's
Burrow have that Allen and Jackson
This
don't?
list made no fucking sense whatsoever.
The thing about Herbert is it's one of those things where they all said coming out of college he's so goddamn awesome that they just haven't let it go yet. What has he done?
Listen,
tell
I
me
like
about
Justin
the
Herbert as a
heroics
quarterback.
that he
I
has.
really do. I think he's a good quarterback. I
He's
don't
a good
think
quarterback,
he
sure,
is
but is he a number 5 quarterback in the
No,
NFL? Crap. That's living on a rep you don't have.
But the big one on here that I don't understand whatsoever is Geno Smith. I have him in the top 15 quarterback, but he's not a top
15?
yeah.
Top 20.
Well, I'd have Baker Mayfield above Geno Smith.
Oh, me too.
I would have put, I definitely.
There's other QBs out there as well that I probably have above him. I mean, on Sam Darnold's record last year, you've got to probably say he's better. Where's Jared Goff? He's better in that opinion. I mean, what I did see is another that was more.
Purdy.
Well, yeah, you could say that too. There's one that I saw come out, which was Pete Prisco's CBS Sports did his annual top 100, and he had the similar thing. The quarterbacks, he had Mahomes as 1, Josh Allen 4, Lamar Jackson 6, Burrow
Was this
was
overall
7.
players in the league?
Overall players in the league. Yep. And then the fifth quarterback overall was Jaden Daniels, who was his 33rd player overall. Which kind of makes sense when you take it every single player in the NFL.
Yeah,
so I'm like, you know what?
You don't want to overrate him yet because you don't.
Then he had Daniels higher than Herbert, Stafford, Hurts, Prescott, and others. Obviously, you know what I mean. So when you think about the quarterbacks throughout this league, it's about the top 4, as you said, Max. You can definitely agree with, but outside of that, it gets dicey. You'd probably say Jaden is working towards being elite. And I think he will get there, but you've just got to have a larger sample size.
If we're being entirely honest, is Mahomes still better than the other 3?
Yes, because he gets it done. He gets it done in the clutch moments. You can't say the same thing for Lamar Jackson. You can't say the same thing for Josh Allen.
Here's my thing about
Justin
Lamar
Herbert. The whole thing with Justin Herbert is it's all hype, and he just always flails out in the first round of the playoffs, the same as Dak Prescott.
Here's my thing about Lamar is you can't blame it on him when his coaching staff only calls 9 running plays in the game when they have to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Lamar put the Ravens in position to tie that game. Mm-hmm. Mind you, he did put them in position to be down 7 in that game, but he puts them in position a lot.
And that overrated tight end dropped the ball.
Good
True,
old
Mark Andrews, yep. Dick Hands, Mark Andrews.
Dick Hands, Mark Andrews. That's right. All right, everybody. All right, so if you're over there on Twitter, coming over here and hang around the gallery, you can talk with us. You can chat with us. We're getting ready to have this trial. I can see that the judge has arrived in his chambers. He's down there. He's there.
Boy.
Yes, he is. We're not ready to bring him in quite yet, but we're getting ready. The courtroom is being swept and cleaned out. No chewing gum. All right, and if you do, don't stick it under the goddamn seats. What else? Did the Commanders have any news this week? Any mini camp really, other than Noah Brown, which we still know nothing. So I'm just going to jump to the worst and say, look, man, his brain got knocked out of his ear, and right now they don't know where.
I don't think it's that big of an issue. I think if it was a real issue, they would have probably came out and said something.
Yeah, we did get some big news today.
What's that?
That Sam Cosmi is doing excellent in his recovery.
They've been saying that for a while. Kai's been saying that for a while, and that they say that he's targeting October, but that he can't say for sure. Kai won't just definitively say he should be back sooner, but he's saying everything but. So there you go. I just put John Keim on the spot.
Jeremy Reeves got a contract extension.
Yeah, that's good. How old is Jeremy Reeves?
29.
29? 28? Just checking. All right. So what else we got?
He'll be 29 this season.
There's a little bit of RFK update.
Yeah.
The city council is dragging its feet and it's pissing the team off right now. And I don't blame the team whatsoever by being pissed off. They have everything they need in front of their face. The Josh Harrison company has said they will close the door and hammer out a deal in 2 days. They'll do whatever they want. And they were trying to push the vote off until the fall. If I was the Commanders, I would say, or once that July date passes, I'm going talking to Maryland. I'm going to go talk to Maryland, push the issue. This is getting out fucking ridiculous. This is a great deal for this city. And it seems like the council is getting a little bit greedy.
What do you know? DC politics, greedy?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck out of here.
You would think with the sweetener
I said that from
bringing
the
the
outset.
draft,
They were all against it. That's what I said. You know, they have not yet been sweetened to the point where they see it can benefit them. Now, I'm not flat out right saying that they won't accept bribes or anything like that, but we know how all this stuff works, man. They're going to get the most that they can benefit them the most, whether it's influence or
Josh Harrison Company is willing to work with them, but they got to get in the room together and talk this shit out. You know?
Well, they like to let things go.
But they're making secret fucking meetings that really piss the public off about these secret meetings.
Really DC politics.
Well, their meetings are supposed to be in open air.
Yeah,
Jesse, the key word you just said they're supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
No, they are discussing public money, so they are supposed to.
Yeah,
nothing like that matters anymore. Apparently, nothing is so that way it's supposed to be.
If I was Josh Harrison Company, I'd get Maryland on the phone. Let's see what you guys can come up with. These motherfuckers are lollygagging.
Yeah. What do you lollygag to first base? You lollygag to second base.
So,
what does that make you?
Here's the thing about with Maryland, and he can say this more accurately than me. If you don't have it in the current site, where do you put a stadium?
Oh,
it's got to be the current site.
There's places. No,
where do you play
for places that you can put it.
The only what are you gonna put it at Six Flags when they tear that down?
Go down there. Why not? I mean, that's only down.
I'm just saying
down the road. The traffic would not be any better. But
where else would you put it?
You could put it down there by where the casinos and shit are.
Down at National Harbor?
Down that way.
Ooh.
There's room
the
down
only
there.
thing I'm thinking, the only thing I can think of here that, like, what I don't understand is I see other teams making announcements, and I get that the politics aspect of DC, I completely understand it. Got no issues with that or how it all works. But I see teams like the Bears saying, we're going to do all this stadium, and it's got 37% of actual funding from the team itself. The Jags have just announced upgrades to the stadium that start this year because they're reducing the stadium. How much do you think is in that of money that's coming from the public? Well over 60% of it. Again, the Bills stadium, exactly the same, 62% public taxpayers money. We're asking for $1 billion out of a $3 billion stadium. It isn't a third. It's like 20% or something. I mean, come on now. This is a good deal.
But we are asking for overall money,
and you've got to realize that DC is controlled by
but it's not free. It's not free. You can't build a stadium for absolute free. And the other thing as well is you would have thought with the sweetener with getting the draft, bringing there and bringing money into the economy.
He's right.
I mean, did you 110 million into Green Bay this year for their economy? That's not to be sniffed at. Now, if it's in DC on the mall, you're probably looking at, I don't know, 400-500 mil. That's a serious amount of money going into their coffers. So what's the issue? It might even be more than that. You might be right. You know what I mean? If everyone spends $1,000, you're looking at $1 billion, aren't you?
They got to figure out how much to funnel as much of that over to themselves as they can, whether it's themselves or their constituents, so that they can buy power.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
And buy influence. Yeah, that's the thing. They've got to work out those kinds of details.
So it would almost offset itself with the money that they're giving to the stadium. They're going to get from the draft anyway. So I don't get it. I don't understand why they're dragging their heels.
Well, as Deluxe says here, it's just politician timelines not aligning with corporate timelines. That's why they put deadlines to help speed up the process. And I
mean, Josh Harris isn't.
What did Jesse just say?
They're not used to this type of stuff. When these guys are businessmen, they want to go get in a room and get a deal done. They'll work fucking from morning till night and go into an office over the weekend and won't come out until the deal's done. And they gave them plenty of time to talk this through. I mean, it was over a month, a fucking month or 2 months, actually. Fucking let's get the fuck on with this. Tell them what you guys want, okay? And let's work it out. We'll hash it out. The deal that's presented isn't the final straw, man. There's room for negotiations.
Of course. And understand this, DC politicians. after 20 years, this stadium is going to be falling apart anyway because people in this fucking town don't know how to build jack shit, and they'll do it again. And you can get a lot of kickbacks on the repair jobs that you'll have to have consistently after, 2 long decades of use by a fucking stadium. I honestly, you know what? I don't like FedEx. I don't really care about where FedEx sits or anything. I don't much care about it. But the fact that these sons of bitches try to tell me that this is falling down, and it is, after 27 years, is an absolute shame. But then again, what the hell?
All right.
I'm not going to this new stadium. Maybe once a year. Go down there
So,
and see Scotty. Hey, how you doing?
Before we've got 4 minutes before this thing starts, right?
All right.
You guys want a little laugh real quick?
Yes, please give me a little laugh.
All right. So the College World Series is going on right now.
Yes. The College World
Do you know
Series.
about the Jello shot challenge at the College World Series?
I'm not that young anymore.
All right. There's a bar directly outside of the stadium in Omaha that charges $5 for a Jello shot.
Right.
And if Jesse goes in there and says, I'm a fan of LSU and I want to buy 10 Jello shots, they're going to send a portion of that money to the food bank of LSU.
Okay.
But also they're going to put a tally of it up on a board, and they update this 3 times a day during the College World Series.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, so the College World Series, the finals start tomorrow. LSU fans have bought 25,818 Jello shots.
Jesus.
At $5 a pop. Coastal Carolina, who's the other finalist, has 7,032. Just for some clarity,
Pikers, bunch of freaking wussies. Get out there.
You take this and you add it up. They've sold almost 60,000 Jello shots at $5 a pop.
You got the LSU is a bunch of Burrows, and you have East Carolina is a bunch of Scotties.
I don't know how to take that. What I was going to say is one thing on that. Funny enough, my football team had a stat like that this year. Even though we were the worst team in the league and we got relegated, it was one of them where away fans went to a certain pub, and it was in Crewe was the pub. And it was, if you go to Crewe, you have to buy a Jaeger bomb. And they're obviously on, and you've had Jaeger bombs, Jesse, so you know where this is going. And it was, how many Jaeger bombs can the away fans do? Now, normally we travel quite well. And I think we took about 1,700 fans, which is good for a small team, to there. And the leaderboard was, at the time, I think it was someone like Notts County had about 400 and odd Jaeger bombs. We finished the season as top of the tree with 687. So, not bad for a pub. So there'd be a lot of drunk people at that game. That's for sure.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen out there in the podcast audience, we've been promising it all week. It is 2 minutes until the courtroom doors come open. We've had a buzz around this all week long. Media is outside, awaiting to be able to answer any questions or ask any questions that they may have of the witnesses or myself or the losers as they exit the courtroom. We're going to go ahead and get this started right away, and we will be back in 1 second.
What?
Oh, good God. Something's coming.
Oh, boy.
I have no idea.
Welcome, one and all, to the trial of Terry McLaurin.
It's the Right Honourable Gentleman, John Taman, QC.
Thank you very much, QC, for quite cute. Let's see here. We're gonna have to move things around here. So we're gonna try the case of Terry McLaurin. Let's bring in the judge right now. Coming in right now, we do have the judge. All right.
The honorable.
All rise for the Honourable Judge Scouse Andrew Lockhart.
I don't know how to work this thing down. There he is. No, there he's not. What the hell am I doing? Oh, there he was.
You had it.
There he is. Scout. There he's got his neck pillow on. Oh, okay, all right. For the official court of the Redskins, this is good. Now, Scott, we were talking earlier about how hot it is over there. And poor Scout's going to sit here in this big-ass fucking hoodie all day in the heat. Thank you.
Yeah, it's painful, bro. It's painful. I'm not going to lie.
You don't have to keep it on.
I'm suffering for you boys tonight.
Look, well, I sincerely appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and, Scouts, as the judge of this operation, you're going to keep control of these entire proceedings as best as you can. I do have a gavel. Let me see here. I mean, you can use your own gavel, but I got one if I want.
Why do you get a gavel?
Because I'm the fucking guy that got the wig. That's why. All right. So anyway, we're gonna get started. So, Scouts, if you have any opening things that you'd like to say, please
keep it fair. Don't over talk over each other. Otherwise, I've got to step in. And then if you go to get contempt of court, you're going to feel the pain. So just kind of,
oh boy,
keep it legit.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Witnesses waiting.
And yeah, and always refer to me as Your Honor as well.
Your Honor is good. Okay, good. Because I don't know if I'd remember to say my lud, and I don't know what the fuck a lud is anyway. So I wouldn't want to go that far. All right. Well, then I guess we should go ahead and let's see here. We can get started. It's on you, Judge.
Prosecution has to have their opening remarks.
Right. Yeah, you guys go. Yeah, you guys go first. We're the defense. Yeah, Scott and I are the defense. Those two are the
to be called
prosecution, so they get to go first.
Prosecution goes first, and they closing arguments are last.
Right.
Jesse's team first.
All right. Everybody.
Team Jesse.
Everybody. Good evening. How are we all doing today?
Good evening, Councilman.
Terry McLaurin has been a steady and respected presence for Washington, but offering him more than $30 million per year would be a misstep given the broader context of the team and the league. While top receivers such as Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and A.J. Brown have earned similar deals through elite production and playoff success, McLaurin has not reached the same impact level. Given his age, where he turned 29 this season and 30 by the next season, a long-term contract would likely pay premium dollars into his 30s, while natural decline often begins. More importantly, the Commanders have significant holes across the roster, including on the offensive line, the secondary, and the pass rush that require cap space to address. With a young quarterback in development, the team has to prioritize flexibility and depth. A reasonable deal that is south of $30 million compensates McLaurin well without compromising the franchise's ability to build a competitive, well-rounded roster. I yield my time.
All right,
Councilman.
While we have just a couple more minutes, I just want to make one note as co-counsel. Terry McLaurin is going into his age 30 season as of September 15th. He will be 30 years old.
For the record, I must state, though, Councilman, that Terry McLaurin is currently 29 years old. Is that correct?
That is true, yes.
That is true, right, but okay. He will be 30 as the season starts.
My lord, if it may please the court, I may like to ask Councilman Max Taman a few questions, if that's okay.
Well, not on the opening arguments.
I'll allow it.
Ooh.
But the judge says go ahead.
I allow it.
You allow it. Two questions there. That could we ask you a bit later to prove or disprove that as of you reach the age of 30, there is a drop off, as you said.
Objection, hearsay.
I could say leading.
All right. Leading. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give our.
It's sustained.
Sustained.
Way to keep control of the court there, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not going to bore you with all sorts of nonsense, facts, and statistics, load you up with a bunch of hyped-up, rah-rah hyperbole. There's a simple thing that does demand consideration. Terry McLaurin is quite possibly the best wide receiver we've had in Washington. Let me tell you something right now. He is a great commander. There's no doubt about that. He is the greatest Washington football team player of all time. Of that, there is no argument. The great Hall of Famer Art Monk in his first 7 seasons, including one cut short by strike, 7.5 seasons, had 466 receptions, only 6 more than Terry has had after only 6 seasons. In that time period, the great Hall of Famer Art Monk had 28 touchdowns, while Terry has compiled 38 in less time. The great Gary Clark, who happens to be the prosecuting attorney's favorite player, he just had 415 catches in his first 6 years. Now, granted, he had 5 more touchdowns, just 5. Santana Moss, he was a great Redskin for sure. He put up the numbers. Boy, did he. But we will get to him later. Now, the prosecutors over there, they're going to have you believe in this magical mystery wall of voodoo. These forces that simply stop wide receivers in their tracks when they get to this certain age, of which we will be certain to understand our client is not there yet. Now, he's going to want you to believe in such a thing, and despite offering absolutely nothing concrete to indicate that the wall actually exists, he will expect you to vote in his favor. Now, I am sure that at the end, when you go to bleedingburgundy.com and cast your vote, you will realize, while eminently qualified, the prosecutor is just spouting things from his behind. Thank you.
Ethan's like to retort.
He certainly looks retorted, Your Honor.
No, there's no need to, because there was no facts given during the opening statement. So proceed as the judge will.
All right.
First witness.
Defense goes first. Call your first witness. We got 2 of them in there. What's up, fellas?
Oh,
Bring one of them up, or both of them.
It's your call. All right, I'll bring them both up. Our
You're
good
the
friend
defense.
Deuce, welcome to the show. And our good friend Steve Lim from Command This Podcast, welcome to the show.
I do.
You guys are going to be as
Oh,
our
my
witnesses today. So I'm glad to see that you both dressed for the occasion. Happy to see that, Deuce. You've got your hat properly off.
Fine Shirt Friday. Come on.
That's right.
That's right. There you go. And I don't know whether or not I look like a freaking barrister or I look like Walton Goggins in some stupid TV show. We'll leave that up to the jury. Max, on the other hand, looks like the guy from The Big Lebowski. He's ready to shoot him. Glasses on. All right. So, okay, the defense goes first. You have your witnesses. You have your evidence.
Yeah.
Then go.
Who
You're
would like to go
the
first?
defense.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. The defense doesn't go first. The prosecution goes first.
no,
We don't know what the
No, it
defense is.
doesn't.
You haven't even laid a charge.
No, it doesn't.
You could prove here.
All
okay,
right.
Steve, let's bring Steve in first, okay?
I'll ask the first question. Okay, we'll do this ass backwards. The prosecution's got to prove its case.
Right.
Terry McLaurin, Steve, is a great wide receiver. He's been great for this team since 2019, since he was drafted. Yes or no question to you, Steve. Would you call Terry McLaurin elite?
No.
Okay. Deuce, I'll bring the same question to you. Do you put Terry McLaurin with the Justin Jeffersons, with the Jamar Chases of the NFL?
Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase of the NFL, no.
I appreciate your candor and your non-combative answers.
He's pandering, Your Honor.
Just showing my appreciation.
All right, Jesse.
Now that we see that Terry seeks a contract, and we're all as fans, and when I say as fans, we really got to take our burgundy colored glasses off when we're talking about this.
Leading.
How is that?
Make me take off my glasses, or the witness. This is preposterous.
Steve, in short answer, what do you feel is a fair contract for a 30-year-old wide receiver?
Objection.
Who is going to be...
Objection, Your Honor. He is not 30 years old. He is 29 years old.
Okay, I'll rephrase. Who will be 30 when the season starts. Okay? Who, when the contract extension comes into place, he'll be going into his 31-year-old season. Do you feel like he should get paid as the top receivers in this league when he's not an elite receiver?
Is this to me or Deuce?
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I feel that Terry McLaurin should get whatever the market dictates, and that is likely a top 5 deal top 5 adjusted annual value, so maybe $34-ish million. And I would say you do it for 4 years with a potential out on year 4, because in the NFL, receivers tend to naturally atrophy around age 34. So you leave that year 34 up for, negotiation or a follow-on 1 or 2 deal. And that's what I believe.
Yeah, I would understand a market value receiver for a receiver in his 20s. Let's bring Metcalf into this equation. He just got a $33 million deal, kind of overpriced, if you ask me, from Pittsburgh, 5 years.
Objection. Nobody cares what you think about what DK Metcalf got paid. That's not that cause here.
But DK Metcalf is 27 years old. Terry is not. A 4-year deal seems a little bit outrageous. I wouldn't go no more than 2 or 3 without after 2. Deuce, what do you think the rate of Terry McLaurin should be coming into this contract?
I think he should get paid as a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Okay.
It seems he's left the prosecution flummoxed there, Your Honor.
Why would you say top 5 when Terry's not a top 5 receiver? He's not a prime age of his career. Why do we think Terry McLaurin, when, let's be honest, Terry McLaurin has never been a game wrecker. He's never been a game breaker. Evidence shows that he's never had a game with over 140 yards, and that was one time.
Enter into evidence entry log 1. Terry McLaurin career stats.
I believe he should get paid like a top 5 wide receiver, because that's what the market is going to dictate.
Put up your own evidence.
I also think the last wide receiver to get paid, regardless if we believe that receiver should have deserved that contract or not, Terry is a better receiver than that wide receiver, because the way the market goes, the way the NFL flows with contracts.
Argumentative.
He's objecting to his own witness, Your Honor. What the hell is that?
What receiver are you speaking of?
DK Metcalf.
And how do we know he's a better? Why do you think he's a better receiver than Terry McLaurin?
I don't think he's a better receiver than Terry McLaurin.
No. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Let me rephrase. Why do you think Terry McLaurin's a better receiver than DK Metcalf?
Because I think Terry McLaurin's a better receiver, because I think Terry McLaurin has more routes than DK Metcalf. I think Terry McLaurin gets upfield faster than DK Metcalf. I also think that Terry McLaurin, as far as who he is on the field and off the field, is much better than DK Metcalf. I think Terry McLaurin takes the offense better, and I think Terry McLaurin cares about the people around him, and that Terry McLaurin makes the people around him better.
Max, you want to jump in on this?
Witness, how we doing this evening? Deuce and Steve, how are we doing?
Pandering, Your Honor, pandering.
Bring some numbers.
Great. You ask one of these guys on a date, I'm definitely going to object.
Well, luckily for you, my father, you do not have to worry about that.
I didn't expect you to be wearing those glasses either, but
You
continue, please.
bought these glasses for me, so.
I did.
Order in the court. Order.
So, you two both mentioned that Terry is not an elite receiver. In your eyes, what does an elite receiver comprehend of? At what point of ranking is an elite wide receiver? Top 5? Top 10?
Objection, Your Honor. It's terrible English.
Sustained.
Thank you. Comprehend of doesn't make any sense.
I will rephrase.
Thank you, Steve. You got to ask questions people can understand. Better rephrase. Make it a sentence that anybody that speaks this language knows what it
How many wide receivers in the NFL are elite?
Councilman, who's the question to, please?
Both witnesses, Deuce and Steve. They can answer at their own pace.
At their own pace?
How many are elite? Well, if I may, I'd like to kind of go back to the first question, because it was a yes or no question that I think is a little more nuanced than is Terry McLaurin elite or not elite. You have to look at Terry's body of work over his time. I know we're paying him for a future contract, but Terry hasn't missed a game since 2020. That's a durability. The best ability is availability. He's put up all of the stats that we've seen. We're going to show. We're going to talk about through some hot garbage worth of quarterbacks. Through Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. Taylor Heineke, Case Keenum. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. He's consistently performed over his time in the NFL. You can't put a price tag on what he brings to you in the locker room with stability. He is the person in the locker room you can say to the rest of your players, I want you to be like this guy. If Terry McLaurin is not on that team, there's hardly any other people on that team you can point to. Now, to get back to the elite question, Terry is one of 3 receivers to have 1,000-yard seasons in 5 consecutive seasons with Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, and Devontae Adams. So we're not talking elite, maybe not elite right now, but you can argue elite over the body of his career compared to those other receivers. But no,
nobody's saying he's not consistent.
You can't put him.
If I may, Your Honor,
put him head to head against Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, because no, he is not better than those guys. But what he's worth to Washington
for the defense, evidence number 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just illustrating because this was one of our points. And Steve brought it right on up. Way to go. That's our good witness right there. By the way, Steve, could you possibly tell me, or Deuce, I don't care, sing out, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, where do they live right now? Are they in the Hall of Fame? You think Mike Evans and A.J. Brown are on their way?
Yep.
Gold jackets, just like Deuce's hat.
By the way, man, the Hall of Fame, you should visit. It's a nice place. I've been there twice. It's a great place to go.
So is the council saying that Terry's going to be in the Hall of Fame? What are we talking about here?
I'm saying you're not going to know until the next few years, but there's potential.
Come on.
Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't put him on this list, and those guys are in the Hall.
You can find a list for anything. I want to go back.
I'm over here having myself a Gatorade while I'm waiting for you to finish questioning these witnesses.
I want to go back to
a great and valuable time to come here and be with us in this courtroom today. You're making a mockery of this trial, sir.
I think you're the one that's making a mockery. Back to Steve's point about Terry having hot trash as quarterbacks. Well, you ever heard of Torrey Holt? You ever heard of Chad Johnson, Santana Moss, Andre Johnson? All these, I can go on and on and on. All these wide receivers had hot trash for quarterbacks and put up godly numbers. I mean, I'm talking about 14, 15, 1,600 yard seasons with hot trash as quarterbacks. I don't think this is not about who's playing quarterback.
Objection.
Terry is a consistent.
Carson Palmer was not hot trash at quarterback.
He was absolutely hot trash in his early years at Cincinnati. I got the numbers to prove it there, bud. Trust me, I do my research. I don't put little figurines up on there and just, hey, this is pretty.
Figurines.
This is so pretty. These are
go to the Hall of Fame. You might see him there one day. No, you won't.
Straight facts. I mean, there's countless receivers who's played with awful quarterbacks who's had much better seasons than Terry McLaurin. Nobody's saying he doesn't deserve to be paid. Nobody is. But again, as representatives of the Washington Commanders, I'm Adam Peter's pocket man. I speak for him.
Well,
he doesn't deserve a $33, $34, $35 million contract a year. Max has some numbers. I want to turn to my co-counsel.
Okay. The defense has exhibits to present.
Some similar receivers,
looking at the clock.
Similar contracts that could be a little bit more towards what we're looking at as a contract for Terry McLaurin.
Let's hear it.
So going into last season, a free agency contract was signed between the Tennessee Titans and Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, at the time of signing, was age 30. And while Terry McLaurin is not age 30 yet, he will be going into the season. Therefore, we can constitute they are both age 30 in the season. Calvin Ridley's contract was 4 years, $92 million. Steve, you mentioned that mentorship and that you would want Terry in the locker room, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you find that mentorship receivers earn less than the primetime wide receivers?
I think that's a hard question. Calvin Ridley has been on 3 teams, so clearly teams have not valued him to keep him, where Terry McLaurin is a homegrown person. And how often do the Washington Commanders bring someone homegrown from draft all the way to retirement? Ryan Kerrigan's the last person I can remember. So
He went to Philadelphia.
Correct. For that one season.
Art Monk.
Yes. Yes. I believe there is something also non-tangible to put towards that fact, just like the durability. Mentorship as well is something tangible, intangible as far as a money value you can put on that characteristic that he has.
I'd like an opportunity to redirect, if I may, Your Honor.
We're missing a witness.
Approved.
Well, all right. I'm going to go ahead and ask the witness, Deuce. Deuce, Calvin Ridley and Terry McLaurin, would you say the only thing they have in common is the R-E and the I and the N in their names?
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
Further question, if I may, Your Honor. Would just a quick question to both witnesses? Would you say that Terry McLaurin is a wide receiver 1, not elite? Is he a wide receiver 1 within this league?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he has elite traits.
Okay, so the reason I bring this up is you had the councilman give the state there of Calvin Ridley's contract, who is $92 million, absolutely correct, $23 million per average, who is a top 10 contract within current NFL terms. T. Higgins signed a contract as well in this offseason. He is 7th. Would you say he is a wide receiver 1 at Cincinnati?
2.
He's
a wide receiver 2.
That's it.
So if you were to give that contract,
Objection, where are we going here?
I'm going down the route of saying, if you give that contract to Terry McLaurin, would you say that he's worth wide receiver 2 money, as that is a wide receiver 2 who's just got paid?
So are you asking if Terry is worth T. Higgins'
Terry
contract?
is worth more than T. Higgins' contract, is what we're trying to say.
Just because he's a wide receiver 1? Quote unquote wide receiver 1?
Absolutely. We can go through more and more stats if you want, Councilman. That's absolutely fine. If you are you still?
How old is T. Higgins?
I believe the question was to Steve.
Non-issue.
Yes, T. Higgins is a number 2 receiver, and he got paid as the highest number 2 receiver in the NFL. So there it is.
So if you were in the position of Terry McLaurin, would you see that as a disrespect if you were not given a contract of similar ilk or more?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Steve,
I'd like to add on to that.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Deuce, did you expect to hear the word ilk used in this trial today?
No, he didn't. Obviously,
I'm not sure what he's done.
Steve, do you own a 17 jersey?
I don't own many jerseys. I have a 17 T-shirt jersey.
Okay.
Counts.
What made you buy?
Bias witness.
Just asking a question.
Honestly,
may I treat him as hostile?
I bought a T-shirt. I bought a T-shirt jersey because when Terry first came out, I didn't know if he was going to be really good or not after the first couple seasons.
And what did you determine after that?
I think he's pretty damn good.
Okay.
Excuse the language for the court.
You say pretty damn good, but not elite.
That's correct.
Not elite.
All right.
How old is this? Could be for any of our witnesses.
We have a surprise witness. We have a surprise witness that has arrived. Welcome, Scott.
How old is T. Higgins?
Scott, put your hand on a Washington Commanders logo, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I swear to give my opinion, my whole opinion, and just my opinion. So help me, Joe Gibbs.
Absolutely.
T's 26, Jesse. T's 26.
26 years old. T. Higgins is 26 years old.
Okay.
That's all that needs to be said about that.
All right. I'm waiting for the defense to finish up here so we can go destroy this crap.
Our new witness, Scott G. Question for Scott. Is Terry McLaurin an elite wide receiver? And does he deserve a elite wide receiver contract?
I believe this group heavily debated this discussion last year. And the consensus at the end of all the different discussion items is he is not elite. He's a top 10 to 15 type wide receiver. And I believe everyone in this, well, Steve and Deuce weren't always involved, but, Max, Scouse, Scotty, Johnny, of course you, Jesse, everyone kind of agreed. Elite was the top 4 to 5. So, no, he's not.
Can I object because I've never heard my dad called Johnny as a grown adult?
I object. There's like 2 people on the planet that call me Johnny.
Your Honor, I have a evidence to put into court. Exhibit 1. John Taman, his Bengal Radio Hour. He
right.
He goes by
Great
on
podcast
Twitter.
of all time.
He posted this. If Terry, and I quote, this is a direct quote straight out of the horse's mouth. If he had an injury, an ankle, anything below his waist, I'd be more cautious. But he hasn't. Not even a nick. Not even a nick. His body's in great shape. The wear and tear is very minimal. With JD5, he can hit his prime in the next few years and really propel the team.
I stand by this statement.
You stand by that statement, do you?
I stand by this statement.
All right. All right. Well,
as a guest witness, I would also like to say that to add credence to that argument, one, Dakota Dak Prescott is 31 years old, been in the league for 9 years, and he is still in the development phase of his career. So I'd like to put that
Agreed.
I'm going to put Exhibit 1B into court, if you will, my honor.
Mm-hmm. Your honor.
Let's see. September 26, 2019. Mm-hmm. He had a strained hamstring.
Oh my God.
December 22nd. He had a head cranial concussion.
Is there any other kind of
concussion? He missed the next game.
Dragging things out.
He missed the next game.
When was this?
Due to a concussion.
So to rebut that, Your Honor, I'd like to ask Deuce, witness. Do you know where you were, Deuce, on December the 20th, 2020?
I know I was in the house.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think I have a haircut yet.
So probably not.
And
at what angle was your hat, Deuce?
The proper. In the house, with this, give you short roll. 20th.
The reason I bring this date up is because that is exactly 4 years and 6 months to the day today, and that was the last time that Terry McLaurin missed any time from a football game.
I would like to say that since 2019, there's a very good chance that the person who wrote that died of COVID.
I'm putting back in this exhibit number 1. Not even a nick.
Hey, okay.
Okay. That is the
5 years ago
sentence right there.
Well,
so I'm going to put in a defense exhibit number, let's see, 2.
There you go. It comes right after 1. All right, Nicky Jabala.
Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin told Jim Rohn that he dealt with not one, but 2 separate high ankle sprains last season. I didn't really use that as an excuse. I had plenty of examples around my building not to use certain things or ailments as an excuse. Excuse me while I hang some fucking dogs.
That's quite all right, because I'm glad that you put this up. I think that shows that
I'm not finished presenting my evidence, Mr. Taman.
You're being contempt.
I'm in contempt.
That's what Jesse,
the judge.
All right, I'm contemptible.
Defense exhibit
metal turf toe.
number.
He played week 1. Oh, thigh hamstring pull. All right. Find the one that's 4 years and 6 months to the day from now, and that's the one that he missed the game.
Okay.
There it is, 20.
November 23rd, 2020.
Right.
High ankle sprain, grade 3.
Right.
Your Honor, can you, and I don't mean to bring you in as a witness, but can, in your other profession, your side job, your my lord, can you please explain to the court what a grade 3 high ankle sprain is?
Yeah, it's the ligaments between the tibia and fibula, higher up on the ankle. It's grade 3 is nearly a full rupture of those ligaments.
Okay.
All right. So a couple, about a month later, and this was on the separate, the other ankle, he recorded another grade 3 high ankle sprain. So going back to the defense evidence number 1, not even a nick.
That's leading,
Mr. Taman says that he's never
sustained
had a nick. His body's in perfect shape. And as
I would
we
like
know,
to point out, Your Honor, I am not an expert in any of
as
this.
we
I don't know why
know,
it's the matter to prove that.
Well, it proves it because
if I may,
you would be more cautious if he had even a nick.
Well, I
And
would, except for
this
one.
proves that he's had more than
with
just
our,
a nick.
With our expert witness, since he's been called in, Dr. Scouse, would you think that a high ankle sprain would heal well enough to play football after 4.5 years?
Oh yes, 100%.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. That.
So that wouldn't you wouldn't call that wear and tear on a body?
I think after 4.5 years,
I have a severe ankle sprain where I had to get cast, and I'm still feeling it to this day.
Well, I mean, you're not a world-class athlete, and I'm not on the stand here, right?
Can we go back? Can we go back to the premise of Your Honor? Can we go back to the premise of this courtroom, which is to detail not just Terry's talent. That is not on trial. What is on trial is the impact of this contract,
right,
and how much we are willing to pay. It does not matter whether my councilman writes a ill-advised tweet. Or how, which makes absolutely no sense, whatsoever. No sense whatsoever. As the player in question has been fit for it. The player has been fit and raring to go, and not missed a single day on the field at game time in exactly 4 years and 6 months.
My argument, Your Honor, is that even though he's been fit, and we've all. We're so glad of it. If it wasn't for Terry McLaurin on this team, we really wouldn't have much to fucking cheer for. That's not the argument here. The argument is because he is getting older. These things can add up, and they are nicks that can, hamper as you get older. Most of us have had injuries in the past, and we start to feel them as we get older, and we start to slow down. That was my point of this evidence. And also my other point of this evidence is that John Taman needed to swallow his words just a little bit when he said he's never had a little nick.
Well, a missing one game is not something I'm going to consider when I'm talking about something almost 5 years later.
I want to bring this back to Scott, to Scott G. He's only answered one question.
All right.
Scott, what is your fair assessment of a contract for Mr. Terry McLaurin?
Well, this is where it kind of gets into many different facets. Has Terry been a solid contributor to this team? Absolutely. Should he get paid? Yes. Now the biggest question is how long of a contract and how big of a contract? I'm going to use, and everyone says, 30 years old. Oh, but then Johns tries to says at 30, he's still healthy, no issues, he's going to be fine. Yet in these discussions leading up to this.
Objection, Your Honor. He is not 30 years old.
Yeah, but he will be. And yes,
so will anybody that's 28, 29.
But he's not, he's going to be 30. 30 is not a big deal. But you yourself said you want an out after 2 years. Why? If he's as elite as what you guys are trying to argue, you should give him a 3-4 year guaranteed contract with no issues. But yet you want it out after 2 years. So, and Scotty says he wants it out after 2 years. You're basically making an argument for Jesse saying you cannot give a long-term contract to this guy.
Long-term nowadays is 3 years.
Yeah, Mr.
But you don't even want to give him 3 years, and you're trying to say he's elite.
Outrageous.
No, I'd give him 3 years with a 2 year with an out in 2 years, just like DK Metcalf.
Yeah, but an out in 2 years means he has a 2 year contract.
Out on DK Metcalf's contract after 2 years.
So that's DK Metcalf. He's a head case.
So you can't bring up the guy who's got a commensurate contract who he's not as good as. I'm sorry, but Terry McLaurin is a better wide receiver than DK Metcalf. He may not be as young.
Arguable objection.
Object to the wall if you've got evidence to place. I'm going to not sit here and be harassed.
If that's the case, then why do you need it out after 2 years?
Order in the court. Let's hear from Deuce. I've not heard from Deuce for a while.
Yeah, I do want. My next question was going to be for Deuce, and what Deuce? What is your fair assessment of the length and contract price? What do you think would be not only a fair for Terry, but also fair for the team?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah,
I
can hear you, Deuce.
All right, so I think like three at 100 mil, maybe 60 guaranteed, somewhere around there. I think. But on behalf of Juneteenth, I have a dream.
Nice.
I
have a dream that one day Terry McLaurin will be paid what he's worth, $35 million a year, not just as a wide receiver, but as the soul of the Washington Commanders. I have a dream that this man who has quietly produced elite numbers quarterback under any system and against any defense will be rewarded, not just for stats, but for leadership, character, and relentless grind. I have a dream that one day this organization will rise up and recognize availability is value, leadership is value, and loyalty is value. I have a dream that despite overlooked nationally, despite playing in an offense that changes coordinators like seasons, despite never having a Pro Bowl quarterback until this year, Terry McLaurin still eats. Let's not overlook that he has over 1,000 yards in numerous straight seasons. 0 off the field drama, a captain on and off the field. A man that survived numerous 10-yard underthrows by the Heineken. And a reputation that's cleaner than new bleached white sock. I say to the front office, to Jesse, don't wait until he's gone to realize what you had. Don't let another cornerstone slip through your fingers like sand in the hourglass of mediocrity. I have a dream that one day young wideouts will look at number 17 and say, that's how you earn your bag with dignity and fire. Let's not go over 100 miles per hour in Walmart parking lots. Let me not care about my headline because I am content with my forehead. I have a dream that Terry McLaurin will not be judged by his quarterback's QBR, but by the content of his game film. And so I say to Washington, let him get his bag. Let him be a $35 million man. Because if you're building a winning culture, this is the man you pay to lead it. Free at last, Terry McLaurin, or we ride on that.
And he's out.
Mic drop.
That's quite the mic drop.
That was brilliant. There you go. He's got it.
Let's get back to what Scott was saying. Let's get back to what that was saying.
Oh, yeah. Let's get back to
35 million is a little bit fucking ridiculous, but I love what Deuce just did. But there's absolutely zero chance we are going to pay Terry McLaurin $35 million a year. That's just out of the question. I hope, in all seriousness, I hope Terry is not
moved. I'm going to take off
asking for
owner hat and put it over here.
Can I ask some questions, please, if that's okay, Your Honor?
The court is yours.
I'll allow
Thank you very much. To Scott G, this is a question for you. If you saw Terry McLaurin in the street with his fly undone, would you say anything?
No one objected to that.
Objection? What?
Objection.
Going up with Scott G's character?
I don't. I just, hey,
Close
if
the
the guy
character,
he wants to let it fly, let it fly. I mean, it's
okay.
Carry on my day.
Scott G, is that on trial?
This witness has been impinged as being a freak.
I was letting it fly on the golf course. That's why I was late. I'm sorry, Judge.
No, sorry.
We do not have a character witness.
Hold you in contempt.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. If the defense is ready for the prosecution, I'm going to say this real quick.
The prosecution is ready for the defense. Go ahead.
The other way around.
All right. Well, first we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go through and do the. Hang on a minute. I got to find my shit here. There we go. We're going to do the top 10 because we do have a top 10 this week, and I got to get shit ready for the top 10. There we are. This week's top 10. Top 10 things Terry McLaurin can do while waiting for his contract. All right, this is the top 10 things Terry McLaurin can do while waiting for his contract that is going to be more than Jesse thinks it should be. Number 10, get laid. Fuck it. You're a newlywed, man. Have at it. Now's the time. Any kids will be made. They'll come after the Super Bowl, right? You do your planning. Do it properly. Number 9, go shopping. Fuck it. You're about to get paid, man. Time to get that diamond-encrusted bumper for your Maserati that you've had your eye on, right? There you go. Number 8, you don't have a Maserati? Go fucking get one to go with your new diamond-encrusted bumper. Number 7, do not let Shedeur Sanders anywhere near your new Maserati with its diamond-encrusted bumper. Number 6, avoid playing poker with Adrian Peterson. Did y'all see that shit yesterday?
Yes.
Fucking beating some dude up in a poker game.
Hey, he lost, by the way.
I guess he was probably
Adrian got rocked.
Let's see here. Number 5, things that Terry McLaurin can do while waiting for his contract. Call Dak Prescott and tell him that when he says, "Here we go," he sounds like the director of a gangbang movie.
Dakota.
All right, number 4, make a hype video and see if you can start another Twitter headache for Linnell Willingham.
Oh, man. Linnell, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
I didn't care. Whatever. Number 3, die with the rest of us in nuclear annihilation when World War III breaks out. Well, of course, weather permitting.
Yeah, on that, Scott, can you just let us know? Because you'll see it first.
Oh, wait, I don't have number 2. Hang on a minute. I got to upload number 2. Oh, well, you'll see it here. Number 2
Brown
thing that
hasn't
Terry
started
can do is
rumbling
get
here
laid
yet.
again. You're a young man. You should be ready to go by now. Number 1 thing to do, get ready for your 30th birthday, which has not come yet.
But it will.
And there you go. So that's the top 10 things that Terry McLaurin can do while he's waiting for his contract to be signed. All right, and it's now time for the prosecution. Thank you.
Defense.
No, we're the defense.
Objection. He doesn't know even what team he's on.
Dude, I look all your evidence is written here. The defense exhibit.
That's you.
No, that's not me. This is me. I'm going to go ahead and start right off with 2024. Terry McLaurin, 2024. All right, let's pull us back over here. Versus single coverage, 10 touchdowns, number 1 ranking in the NFL. Quarterback rating when targeted, 135.3, ranking number 1. All right, this is from Pro Football Focus, which the prosecuting attorney likes to quote quite a bit. These statistics show that despite his age, once he got himself a quarterback, he did ridiculously well. 82 receptions, second best season of his career. 1,096, third best in his career. 13 touchdowns, nearly double his previous high. 56 first downs, nearly or it tied the best in his career. This dude was clutch. Multiple touchdown games. 4 fourth quarter touchdowns. 5 game-winning touchdowns. 2 100-plus yard games. 5. And I remind you, this is in his latest season at which he's nearing that magical, mystical barrier.
500-yard games there, not 2.
500-yard games, 2 game-winning touchdowns. Thank you. And if we would have stopped Turpin, it would have been 3. Let's see. All-pro votes. Yes, he made the second team. 41 votes, third most among wide receivers. Behind. Does anybody care to witness? Steve, do you know who he was behind?
In All-Pro?
All-Pro
I'll say Justin Jefferson.
1.
Correct.
Jamar Chase.
2. There were your starters.
Objection,
right there for
this is
the
leading.
team.
The answer is literally on the screen.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. So, now these guys
pretty
are
obvious,
still
though.
head and shoulders far up above him. All right. If the argument is that they are the elite, okay, well, he's standing right beneath them. He's standing there. And as was put up before, 900 yards, 50 receptions for 6 years of career. These are stellar names, and he's in this conversation. Nobody put him in there. And 2 of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. Probably Mike Evans, I would say.
Objection.
What would it be?
This is hearsay. He's not going in the Hall of Fame. So
as if you weren't giving opinions during your entire presentation.
I gave all facts. Every one of them was a fact.
He smells funny.
I didn't give opinions. I'm not putting him in a
I'm
group
not so
of
certain about that. We could play
Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. Come on.
Those are facts. You go look up how many players have done this accomplishment, and his name is right there with these 4 guys. These 2 are in the Hall of Fame. Mike Evans.
Why don't you put their stats up next to his? Let's see that.
I would rather not. I'm doing my prosecution. You could have defended that, but you were lazy. You didn't do it. So as we brought up before, Scott, could you ask Steve? Where'd Steve go? Is he still here?
I'm here. I'm here.
Would you describe these quarterbacks as stellar or shit?
Objection. This is literally leading.
Yeah, I've already crushed this theory.
There was some.
You had your opportunity.
I've already crushed. There's so many wide receivers that's had much better seasons with crappy quarterbacks.
That is entirely up to your opinion. I'm only laying out the ones that he's had. Case Keenum. Case Keenum's job now is backing up cars for fucking Progressive Insurance. Dwayne Haskins. Colt McCoy's job is killing wasps for Progressive Insurance. All right. I don't care what wide receiver Joe Schmo did with his shitty quarterback. This is what ours have done with these one-legged, here we go, Captain Kidd over here, Alex Smith. I'll throw with one leg. Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. Kyle Allen, who nobody could fucking pick out of a lineup, including his mother. Taylor Heineke, who we used to have on a weekly basis. The Taylor Heineke, let's fucking make fun of him on this doggone podcast. Garrett Gilbert. Could anybody show me a picture? What number was Garrett Gilbert?
No.
19.
He played one fucking game.
I'm sorry.
Still started.
Played one fucking game. He was there.
Played one game.
Minimum one start.
So
1, 2, 3, 7, 11, 14, 17, 16 quarterbacks until he came upon Jaden Daniels. And when he came upon Jaden Daniels, he put up a career season. And that is not debatable. What about these coaches? We'll give Jay Gruden and Kevin O'Connell.
Objection.
How about the rest of these guys?
Irrelevant.
Well, they're not irrelevant. These are the offensive coordinators. What would you suggest about these offensive coordinators?
He's the standard. It's irrelevant.
Was a valid choice as an offensive coordinator in retrospect?
Again, there has been.
I'm sorry, I asked Your Honor, please get control of this courtroom. I'm telling you, call in the
many
bailiff.
elite receivers with shitty coordinators that had much better seasons than Terry McLaurin.
Sorry, but you'll have to prove that, and we are here in the court. You can't just say it. I'm showing you who he had. What would you, Steve? How would you classify these guys?
I mean, I believe the only one that really set him up for success was Jay Gruden because his offense was pretty dynamic. Scott Turner, he got better under Scott Turner because the offense slightly progressed. But I mean, I do believe he was held back by the quarterback play.
Hang on 1 second here. I got to look at something real quick. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Hang on a second. I got to look at something.
Turd off the screen.
We're leaving the turd up so you get a good notion of what we've had here for the last almost 10 years, or his entire career, all the way up until he finally got one and had a career season. We do have a surprise guest witness, I must say. And we're going to leave Scott here to go ahead and talk to him. And here he is.
Yes.
Oh, good God.
How y'all doing?
Good evening, Mr. Turner. How are you?
Old and cranky now. It's past my goddamn bedtime.
Objection. What does this have to do with anything?
Relevant.
What's irrelevant?
I'm here to talk about my son, Scotty. Scott.
It's irrelevant.
Why is it
Sustained. I'm not having this. I'm not.
Well, let me tell you something. In our family, we were certain that Scott would grow up to be like a Uber driver or a convenience store clerk or something. But hey, that idiot Ron Rivera hired him to coach an offense. And, well, you can see how well that worked out. If y'all aren't going to let me talk, well, do I get my speaker fee anyway?
You do. The witness is relieved.
You may leave permanently.
Yeah, he did. He did.
What happened? That ain't what's supposed to happen.
Still got no.
Where the hell he go?
I don't know. I'm supposed to be here. Oh, there I am. Hey, here I am.
I have one more question for the witnesses, if that's okay.
Go ahead, please.
Scott G, do you know what 1,652 divided by 0.96 is, please?
Any objections?
I think that's a valid objection. What's the relevance again?
I think that's a valid question.
Can you repeat the numbers?
Yeah, 1,652 divided by 0.96.
Don't count on your fingers. It's against the law.
I'm guessing that's somewhere what I shot today on the golf course.
I'd like you, Judge, to compel the witness to answer the question.
How about this? Pick out Kazakhstan. Can you do that?
Can I redirect?
Please.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Steve Lim, I'm going to list for you 8 names, and I'm going to ask if you can give me the context as to which they all have.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, and Deebo Samuel.
So you're asking what is the one commonality about all those guys?
Correct.
Okay. I was gonna say they're all over 30, but DK's not. They've all had one first-team All-Pro.
These are wide receivers that signed contracts before Terry McLaurin in 2022, all with greater value. So therefore, we cannot go off of he's going to want to set the market because he's proven to take the 9th highest contract of a season.
But I would also, along that same lines, I agree with you. But in the words of my favorite unk, Shannon Sharp, you don't have to be the best player at your position to be the highest played. It just has to be your turn. And whether we like it or not, that's just how the NFL works.
But the turn, you don't get your turn when you're going to be 30 or 31 years old when the contract comes in.
Right. I'm saying that we have seen already in a proven history that he is not willing to, he does not want to set the market. He is willing to slide into an appropriate role.
I would not think that $33 million a season is setting the market. We know it.
And neither is 34. That would put him at third, right above CeeDee Lamb. And
exactly.
The longer you wait, the more expensive it costs. Right. You have Jaden Daniels coming up on a massive contract, so you got to get this done. At least have the big money come in the first year and second year. So the third year, you have tapers down. In the fourth, you could have an option. So
I don't think JD's contract that won't even start until worry about that until like 2028.
Jaguars paid Trevor Lawrence after year 3. That could be a future trend. I don't know.
Now,
didn't they pay Justin Herbert too?
With that, however,
I don't think Justin Herbert. I don't know.
I did mention in my my opening statement about the holes on the roster. Do you believe that Terry McLaurin is a team first player to take less money to improve the team? Because I do. He's proven that.
Yeah. I think he is.
On that note, find less money. What do you say?
On that note, with my esteemed co-counsel, we have on our team a bunch of 1-year contracts. Okay, and we don't have a lot of money to play with. We don't have an edge rusher. We don't have money tied up in an edge rusher, and we don't have a lot of money to mess around with. So not only it may seem like we have money to spend until Jaden's contract, in reality, we don't, because we have a lot of 1-year contracts and not a lot of big contracts on the books. So yeah, I want to save that extra $3 or $4 million to be able to hopefully get a pass rusher, hopefully be able to sign some more players to longer terms. Luvu's going to have to get another contract after next year, and it's going to be a lot more than what he's getting paid now.
Luvu is not on a trial here.
I'm bringing the reasons context why we cannot go too high on this contract. Everybody thinks Terry McLaurin holds the cards in this. Sorry, but the team does. The team can make that. We can make Terry play out his deal and put the tag on him.
Steve, I have a question for you.
Oh, yes.
Is there value in Terry McLaurin that goes beyond the football field? Is there value?
Objection irrelevant, because it's irrelevant. It is absolutely 100% irrelevant.
Counter that. You have just talked about Tranky Luvu, which is completely irrelevant. I will argue on Terry McLaurin's behalf, which is what we are here for, to talk about Terry McLaurin's contract. You are there to represent the Washington Commanders and say you will not pay him $30 million, which is the argument that we are setting out. I will say to you that the salary cap has gone up $25 million every single year without fail.
Objection.
The money that we are going to pay him.
Hearsay. Objection.
It's hearsay. It's a fact.
You're right. It is a fact. Okay. It is a fact that has gone up every year by that amount. We cannot guarantee how much it will go up by.
No, we cannot guarantee that. So however, you still have $20 million to pay with now. As ineffective cap space.
You are right, that is now, but this contract won't go into effect until next season.
Exactly. This contract will not go into effect till next season. Correct.
Yes. The question was, Steve, I do believe there's things off the field that are intangible. I said it before. His leadership ability. There's another metric. With Terry McLaurin, I believe it's more than just total touchdowns. I believe it's more than just total yardage. I believe it's more than just, and if I may, I as a witness, I'd like to present my own thing, if I can. I don't know how.
This is a PG podcast. Please,
House hasn't had any.
If you could present that,
please keep it in your pants, Steve.
John, can you change the format, John, so this can come in?
Oh,
I'm already presenting. It's just one screen.
Got it there.
Just put it in the format. We always talk about Terry and his contested catches. This is Terry and his tight windows. This helps quarterbacks who are less accurate with these tight windows. This was just last season in 2024. So clearly Terry helped Jaden do some things. So all I'm saying is I believe it should be between 30 and 34. It doesn't matter where it is along that spectrum. I believe that it should be 4 years, but like I said, at least 3 with that 4th year. They build into those outs, those not a team option, but the way they can get guaranteed money is only for 3, and they can get crazy with the cap. But for the record, we are currently the 5th highest salaried team just for wide receivers, and that's with his current deal. So just throwing that out there, if you wanted to see the numbers, it's pretty high. It's Cincinnati, Tampa, Miami, Tennessee, and Washington. We are the 5th highest.
I'm going to object to these stats. There's no scientific basis as far as what is a tight window. I mean,
I'm sorry, Jesse. I'm sorry.
Like,
literally, wait, pull that back up.
Let
because
Scouts make a ruling for change.
I'm going to do it for Scouts. It literally does say on the graphic as to what a tight window throw is.
Well, I mean, it's like 1 yard, 2 yard. I mean, that's the NFL. Like who cares about that's
less than 1 yard?
Doesn't make it.
The NFL is about advanced metrics.
You put that more on the quarterback than anything else.
And you love PFF.
Bollocks.
You love PFF, Jesse, as well.
Bollocks.
Can I switch sides?
Last question, if possible, to Scott.
I don't want this L on my record.
And it is a good question. It is a good question. All right. What 3 words would you use to describe Terry McLaurin?
Quality teammate. Predator.
That's
for the record. He said quality teammate. Is that correct? He was cutting out.
So quality teammate. So he's a teammate. Good job, Scott.
Oh, I said he's a good locker room guy.
He's a quality teammate. Yeah, I've got you there. Yeah,
he's a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had a thought and I forgot what the fuck it was. So there you go. Par for the course. Thank you.
Listen, we know Terry McLaurin's a great guy on and off the field.
That's where I was.
That's you can't argue that whatsoever. But
I would argue this,
if I may, Your Honor, the fact that he's not the only great guy receiver in the NFL.
Not the same thing.
It's not
the same thing.
And we don't pay him for being a good guy. We pay him for the production on the field.
Some cases you do, and I will explain.
You don't.
I had asked my question to Steve, and ever since then, I've been trod upon and kicked around this courtroom without any support from the judge, who really is just about as weak as a fucking wet.
Because I don't like
It's 80 degrees in UK today.
I asked Steve a question about his intrinsic value that is beyond what he does. We are in a very different situation than any other team in the NFL. This team just came back from the brink of practical extinction and won back a large percentage of the fan base. One thing that you don't want to do now is throw away one of the better players and one of the fan favorite other than Jaden Daniels that this team's had. And like you said in your very opening remarks, Mr. Counselor, he has been the best, the shining light over the last 6 years of his career until last year when Jaden Daniels got here, and he showed what his value is by putting up a career season before he turns the age that he's not, which he's still 29. Thank you.
Listen, again, nobody's arguing what a good team player he is.
So let's wrap this out. Let's wrap it up. What are we saying we're going to get? What's he going to get? What are you guys saying he's going to get? What do you
want to give him a little bit more than Max does. I'm saying a modest $28.5 million, a 3-year contract, averaging at 28.5 per year with incentives built in where he can, escalators, which as good as Terry's been playing, if as good as Terry's been playing, that contract could be worth a little bit more money, that would potentially get him into the $30 million range. But I want Max to explain because he's doing a little bit different. I'm kind of going average per year, Max got a little bit different situation. I'll let him explain what he wants to throw out there.
So when Jesse and I were discussing this in our council, we mentioned specifically the Jamar Chase contract as an example. Does anyone know how much cash Jamar Chase is going to be making this season?
Just tell us.
It's actually less than T. Higgins, if I'm not mistaken.
It's $23 million.
Yeah.
However, if you speed that up to 2028, he'll be making 41, and by 2029, $53 million a year. So theoretically, we could sign Terry McLaurin to just say 3 years, $90 million, which would be $30 million a year, which is right on the dime. Except his first year, he might make 35, and then would make 28 and 27. I think that's a very fair offer. Reward him for the season you just had, but don't make it an average that's going to be an astronomical number.
But you're also guaranteeing them. There's less guarantees.
Max has abandoned. He's abandoned the prosecution there. All right, I would agree. I'm going to say I agree with what Steve's got there. Even though I had said in the tweet 2 years, I'd be willing to go 3 years, and I'll say it for the same reason. I don't care whether he had a goddamn high ankle sprain in 2020 that caused him to miss one game. Unless any player can get hurt at any time. That's a risk that is inherent upon any football player. Unless there's something significant that happens. I would say that between now and 33, 32 years old, I don't see him having that significant of a decline. He can play at a high level. He keeps care of his body.
But nobody can say that for sure.
But you can't say it. You can't say it's not either. All right.
No,
I mean, I'm not going to compare him to Jerry Rice. But if you'd have said he can play into his 40s, nobody would have believed it. But you can say 33 to 34 years old, 33. I can gamble on he's going to still be a productive high-level player. I'd said earlier that we'd get back to Santana Moss. Santana Moss put up great numbers, great fucking numbers for this team. You know what age he was when he signed his last contract with us? 31.
Sure, but it wasn't a market, it wasn't a top market deal.
I'm not saying that Terry's going to get a top market deal. Those two are already gone. All right.
That 33 to 40, anywhere in between there, that's a top market deal.
I'd say 33. No, 33 is about right. And I think he is a top 5 wide receiver in this league. When we talked earlier about somebody said earlier about, I think it was Scott G said earlier about how we last year came to the agreement that he was top 15. But yeah, that was after a season with Sam Howell. Now we've seen him with a season with a quarterback that knows what the fuck to do. Was he clutch? Fuck yeah, he was. Did he put up? Fuck yeah, he did. You can't deny it.
That just
you can't deny it.
Also, credibility. I
gotta say, unless you can say the word, I don't want to fucking hear it.
Come on, take the glasses off. All right, I'm doing my closing argument.
The whole elite discussion last year was at the end of the season, so it was after 10, 12 games of
I moved him up like 3 spots. That's fair. That's that's not okay.
Jesse moved him up to 22.
Listen,
2 years, 2 year extension, $60 million.
Is not a top 10 receiver, let alone top 5. Let's be real. You can argue 10 through 15 all you want. Okay,
I'm not gonna pay him like a top 5. I don't think 33 is gonna get him a top 5 because I think it's gonna change. But even if it does get him a top 5, if it's a top 5 this year, next year it's not. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, but everybody that is getting paid is a hell of a lot younger than him. Listen, being 30 years old is a lot.
Sorry, a year and a half is not a hell of a lot younger. DK Metcalf is not a hell of a lot younger.
Years old. Is
he's not 30 years
Mike
old.
Evans,
objection, Your Honor. He's not
Mike
30
Evans
years old.
And Devontae Adams, both over 30 years old, both just signed contracts. One $20 million a year and one $22 million a year. Am I saying going that low? No, but both of those are better receivers than Terry McLaurin.
They have.
Who did you say they was better? Devontae Adams.
Arguably.
Better receivers. Look, man, we saw what Devontae Adams did with bad quarterbacks. Not much of nothing. All right. All Terry's had is been bad quarterbacks, and he fucking produced.
He produced like a top 20 to 15 receiver.
And then he
produced as a average wide receiver 1. That's what he's been his entire career, and that's fine. That's fine. But going into his 30s, we want to reward him. We're going to pay him more than the Mike Williams contract. We're going to pay him more than the Devontae Adams contract, much more than that. But going up until the top 5 of average annual value.
Hang
Sorry,
on a minute.
that's not going to happen.
Hold on. I think he is a top 5 wide receiver. I didn't say pay him like one, and I don't think 33 would be. And even if it is,
would be.
In 9 months,
33 would be the 4th highest receiver market right now.
$30 million.
John, may I present something, John? For the sake of the group. You have to change the format here. Real quick, just want to show you guys the adjusted annual value of the top 10 receivers in the NFL. So here is what it looks like. And for the record, look at 9 and 10. Those are number 2 receivers in the NFL.
Right. On their respective teams that are much younger than Terry.
They're both 20. They're 27.
Much younger.
Tyreek Hill's 30 years old. He had a worse season.
Much better than Terry McLaurin.
He had a worse season than Terry McLaurin last year.
Okay,
he's still a better
receiver. If you look at the stat, if you're going to go stats, then
I'd say he was. What he is now, we don't know. What Tyreek is now is a guy that runs from fucking child support payments. I don't know what Tyreek is now. The last thing I saw of him wasn't very good. You're going to tell me that
Jefferson
these
had
guys
8
start to
games
decline?
where he didn't
Well,
score
you
a
can't just sit
touchdown.
there and automatically give a guy like Tyreek Hill a pass when he's on what you call his decline. And for him, you can see it. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry, man.
No, I just think anywhere within looking at these numbers, anywhere within the 1 to 10
upwards.
spectrum, justified. I don't anything lower than that. I think it's disrespect.
7th, 6th, or 5th is kind of where you want to. In between 6th and 5th, probably is where you
better
wanna
than Brandon
work
Ayuk.
out.
I agree.
I'm on St. Brown. You could argue.
we were all. No,
I don't think he's better.
Argue Amon.
All right,
he's better. He's not as good as
Brown
Amon.
is a lot better than Terry.
I agree.
And we all talked about Brandon Ayuk last year when he was possibly available. We all said that Brandon Ayuk would come in here and be the 1A and Terry be the 1B. Brandon Ayuk got hurt last year. All of San Francisco, they just had a bad year. Just because he had a down year in his first 6 games doesn't mean he's not a better receiver than Terry McLaurin. My money's on Brandon Ayuk. When does it happen,
though? When does it happen? Because we kind of had this argument last year about Justin Jefferson and other in a fantasy argument. When does it happen that these things start to change for you? Because if you look at their production, yeah, it does. When you look at Tyreek Hill's production last year was terrible. Now what is he? Where is he?
Justin Jefferson went he went 8 games without a touchdown in the regular season towards the end. Disappeared completely.
So now Terry, because he had more touchdowns than
no, it's not that.
It doesn't make him better. It's about what you've done.
You can't hold these guys up and say he's so much better, but they don't fit the criteria that you're laying on to Terry. So I think we've already been here for an hour and a half. We should sum this up.
Terry's last year,
thank you, Steve,
had a normal Terry year, except for touchdowns. I put that more in Jaden than anything. Yeah.
Can we say bye to our witness, please?
Your Honor.
Thank you, Steve. We'll see you.
Prosecution, defense.
Appreciate you being here.
Great talk.
Right.
I do have to roll.
Yeah, man, we've been here for a long time. My wife's giving me the eye too.
Is there going to be a decision, or this is just a
decision? Will be on Bleeding.
Oh no, we're gonna send everybody over to bleedingburgundy.com to vote on the poll, and they can vote and they can find out. And you better go over and vote. Goddammit. I mean, we did a lot to try to get this thing together.
Hell yeah.
And promote your stuff, man. Go ahead. Where can you find?
Yeah, guys, Command This Podcast. Check us out anywhere on your socials. We are just as crazy as these fine gentlemen right here. So we're right there with you guys. Love what you do. Appreciate it.
I do enjoy your show, man. It's a lot of fun. Although when was it Sean was telling me that he was talking to me at a game, and I'm like, I wasn't at the game. Oh, he said it was you. Who the fuck is that?
He's a little spacey, man. When he gets on them edibles, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Have a great one, Steve. Thanks,
Take care. Peace.
Hollywood, I can agree with you on that. We even were talking
I could agree about
Higgins
but not Waddle.
coming here.
I mean, except in Miami.
That's arguable. It's definitely arguable.
I could make an argument about Jalen Waddle not being a wide receiver 1 anywhere else.
I think that's arguable.
You're very well could. Thank you, Jesse.
He very well could be a wide receiver 1. I just with
Here's
Terry,
a question for you.
I think his age definitely has a role to play on this. And
29.
I really do not think that the off the field stuff has much to do with it might have some to do with it, but it's not
it's not worth $10 million. Let's say that it's not worth they're going to make $10 million decision based on that. But
I think it's more like maybe a $1 million, between $1 million. You know, he said if they're at 29 and he says, no, I want 30. Okay, we'll give you 30.
Right. Well, my point about the point I was making about him being a bigger figure is really strictly to us because of where this team has been and where it's trying to get back to in terms of just attracting fans. And he's a big part of that right now. Good Lord, my dog went out.
I think.
All right,
I think,
make your closing argument. I think
Jaden has a lot to play. This is not Terry's team anymore. This is I'm talking like the fan base aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Terry's moved over. Jaden has moved in. As the number one player on this team.
Sure.
And I think there is, the team itself holds the cards because they can absolutely make Terry play out his contract. That's, 1 year left. Then they could tag him, would be less than $30 million. They can tag him again. That would still be less than that.
What?
So
Scott's nipples are hot.
Sorry, it's red hot.
They hold the cards. Terry doesn't. A lot of people saying that Terry holds the cards in the negotiations, and I don't think he does.
I think the team always holds the cards in the negotiation. There's very rarely, unless you're a quarterback, that you can say that the player holds the cards. However, I'm going to throw a couple last things up here just for people to see.
I'm tired about hearing how everything goes through them. Fuck them. It's about us. It's about what we do. It's about how we coming. They got to go through us. Fuck all that. We gonna bring that shit today. It's gonna come through this circle right here like it always do. Like it did last week, like it did the week before that, like it's gonna be next week. It go through the fucking playmakers, man. This is what we do. Be that today, man. A players be A players, dogs be dogs. Stand on what the fuck you say. Let's get it, man. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.
We saw John Allen do the same shit. Come on.
Doesn't matter. Terry goes out and does it. He goes out and stands behind it. Besides, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, one last thing to leave behind. His last coordinator and quarterback, as we saw, and he still put up halfway decent numbers. He got himself 1,000 yards, but fuck, as we all know, that was possibly the worst offense we'd ever seen. And he still tried his best in that thing. And you can't listen to a man whose first podcast went like this.
What is going on? Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast. It is Tuesday, May 25th.
By the way, man, we didn't have an anniversary show for the May 25th there.
We didn't, no. Can we thank the witness, Scott G, for being with us as well?
Well, I got one more. I got one more question for Scott G.
Oh,
you were going to give your closing argument 30 minutes ago.
I don't think we ask. I don't think we asked John or Scott this question. If we do, I apologize. I fucking forgot. What is your opinion on contract average annual and length? Did we ask Scott this?
Yeah, we asked Scott.
Oh, I
wasn't quite sure. So there it is right there, folks. Go over to bleedingburgundy.com if you're still.
And remember,
go ahead. Remember. All right, if you go to bleedingburgundy.com, right there on the top, you'll see in the main thing there with the stories, you'll see the voting. Click on that, hit the poll, which one you decide, $30 million or more. We're really not going to try to sit there and make you come up with years and all that. That's just for us to waste time with here. Or under $30 million. And we're going to just assume safely that we're 3 to 4 years, not some stupid 5 to 6 years. Let's see. He's not a running back. The age 30 isn't that big of an issue. So many wide receivers.
I disagree
well into their
with
30s
this,
says deluxe, and
a
I
lot.
agree.
All right. It's the skill positions, running back and receivers, same fucking thing. Their legs start slowing down after 30s.
Well, the hands are what he's worried about. We got speed coming up. All right, so there you go. Go over to
one thing I will say about the contract is when it does get, we all know it's going to happen, and there's going to be people that are going to come out and say, "Hey, it's an overpay, and I cannot believe they gave that."
Of course,
other people are saying. Then there'll be another group of the fan base that says, "Oh, that's such a disrespectful contract. You needed to give him." No one's gonna. The fan base will still be split.
That's all right, as long as he's on the field when he is 29 years old on September the 14th.
As long as Terry is on the field on week 2 in Green Bay.
That's rough, Paulie.
I don't think he'll get $30 million elsewhere. Sorry, I don't.
I do.
I do not.
There's other teams that would be happier than hell to talk about.
I'd put money on it.
I think people would.
My guess will be it will be in the low 30s, just because of the market.
Low 30s. All right, so yeah, I think we're all kind of in agreement there, except for Jesse, that he's looking at under 30. We're looking at over 30. So go to bleedingburgundy.com, hit the vote, see what you say, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks and tell you how it all came out. And hopefully by then, Terry will have a new deal. We'll be getting ready for camp. We'll have our NFC
Jesse
East
will freak out because it's going to be $30 million in one.
What is your honor?
30,111,000, which is the fine because he didn't turn up.
That's right.
The honorable Scouse Andrew Lockhart. What is your say in the contract price and length?
I think he gets 32 on average, 3 years extension, so 4 years total.
There you go. The judge is on our side.
There's no way 4 years.
With the final year to kind of like get out clause. That's what I think.
2 years, 2 year extension, 60 million fully guaranteed.
Indispensable, mate. He's indispensable. That's the word. People wouldn't find the words for him. He's indispensable to our team. Pay him.
I don't see that he's indispensable.
Right. Nobody's indispensable, but
it's 7:15.
Come on.
Yeah, we got to get it. All right. I don't know why you took this off so fast, but you're right. That's the Bruce Allen approach. I just think that he should. So go to bleedingburgundy.com, put your thoughts down, and tell me what you think. And we will be back in 2 weeks. Thank you, Scouts, for being the judge and sitting there in that fucking hot thing all night.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, you lost my
burgundy colored glasses off.
Hell no. We're getting ready to come to camp. Did you see that slow motion 4-yard throw fucking to Deebo Samuel? We're going to Super Bowl, buddy.
It was slow motion.
Hey, so it was like, you see that JJ McCarthy throw? Come on now.
JJ McCarthy throw. Scouts, I don't know if you saw this or not, but we're just going to show you this real quick before we go. First off,
ever heard of the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles from Philadelphia? I went there once. Hi, Jalen Hurts, so yummy.
I just can't anymore. That guy's father needs to put a foot up his ass. What the hell is the one I got to? Here we go. I don't know if you could read it or not, but that guy says that was the greatest touchdown throw of all time that J.J. McCarthy just made in minicamp, and I think he was out of bounds. All right, ladies and germs, we're out of here. We'll see you next time on the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast.